Welcome to the Martin Bailey Photography Podcast. It's January 6, 2024, and this is episode 833. I'm sitting down at my desk on January the 3rd, 2024, to start the process of selecting my top 10 photos from 2023. If you've been following my antics for a while, you'll know that this is a yearly exercise that I carry out, and you can check out all of my previous selections by searching for Top 10 in the toolbar at martinbaileyphotography.com. To recap, I feel that learning to edit a selection of images down to a finite number is an important skill for a photographer and comes into play pretty much every time we use our cameras. No one wants to sit through hundreds of images when you're trying to relay a story about somewhere you've visited or something you found interesting. Photo contest judges would never say, "Just send us your memory card and we'll look through all of your images and see if anything is worthy of a prize." It's your job to select your best work, and that is why I recommend that everyone with an interest in photography goes through this exercise each year and come up with your own top 10. When you look back over the years, you also see your progress, and your selections will also be a wonderful reminder of the best of your experiences as you develop and use your photography to document your life. The subject matter will also show you what you are most interested in as a photographer. Even if you shoot many genres like sport, portrait, street, wildlife and landscapes, when you make your selection, you will find that you end up with a short list that leans towards one or two genres, and this helps us to learn what we enjoy shooting. It's up to you if you try to create a final set of images that is balanced across all of your genres, or if you prefer to list 10 images that you personally like the most out of your year's work. The most important thing is that you strive to whittle down your selection to 10 images. It could be more, say 12, or even your top 20, but the larger the number, the less difficult the exercise becomes. And if you select too large a number, you risk creating a less impactful final selection of images. I like 10 because it's a small enough number to be difficult and a large enough number to end up with a sample of work that still means something to me and hopefully to others too. If you've listened to or read about how I manage my images, you'll know that there are also a few other tasks that I have to do as I start a new year. As I write this manuscript, I've just attached my 2023 Traveler Drive and my Finals SSD. Both are high-end SanDisk SSD drives. I do one last check to ensure that all of my best work from 2023, my final selection from each shoot, has been copied to the 2023 folder in my Finals drive. I then emptied the trash in Capture One Pro and ran one last backup to sync all of my images to the 2023 Traveler Drive onto my NAS before cleaning out the catalog and deleting my 2023 folder. From this point on, the copy of my 2023 photos on my NAS becomes my master copy and archive. But all of the work from the year that I care about is also on my Finals drive, and I'll use my Finals drive copy to make my 2023 top 10 selection. I've got 1,060 finals from 2023, which is more than usual, but I did 2 Namibia tours this year, so a total of 5 tours left me with more images to select from. To get started on the selection process, I've created an album named 2023 Top 10 under my Top 10s album in my Capture One Pro collection and made that album my Selects collection. I have a keyboard shortcut defined, so now whenever I hold down the Option and Command keys and press the Q key on my keyboard, the selected image will be added to my 2023 Top 10 album. So off I go now to look through my 1,000 plus images from 2023 and see how many I'll select in my first pass. It's important to be selective, as I already know that only 10 images are going to make the grade. So just throwing everything I like into the collection is a waste of time. Besides, these images are already my finals. This means they're already the best shots from my shoots throughout the year. They're in my final selection for a reason, and I'm glad they are, as this gives me a huge head start on my top 10 selection process. I'm picking up on this task now on January the 5th after a morning flying a drone for the first time in 5 years, and it was a lot of fun. They've come a long way in the 5 years that I haven't been doing any flying, and I can't wait to get some new shots on my upcoming Hokkaido landscape photography adventure. Anyway, having just finished my first run through just over 1,000 images that I selected as my finals after each shoot during 2023, I have 60 images to start and whittle down. This is often a higher number, but I found it pretty easy to make the first selection for a number of reasons. The first thing to note is that to me many of the images I made in 2023 are very similar to previous years, the same tours with slightly different opportunities, so I kind of automatically didn't consider many repeat images. Having said that, I was surprised to find myself excited about some of my Stellar Sea Eagle flight shots, but they are such magnificent birds that I probably shouldn't be surprised. There were also a number of shots that I feel were still pretty special and different, maybe also better than previous years, so they were obvious candidates. I've included a screenshot of the selection before I embark on my second pass. First of all, I'm going to get rid of some of the almost duplicate images. I still have 2 of the copse of trees on the hilltop in Hokkaido and only need 1 at the most. Likewise for the shot of a line of swans flying in at the Kushiro Lake with the frosty trees in the background. And, of course, the sea eagle shots. To perform this task, I generally select all the images of the same subject and view them on the screen at the same time. Here's a screenshot of the copse on the hilltop comparison. Note that for this process, I often change the background of the viewer in Capture One Pro to white, as this makes it feel more like a print to me. And I also find it easier to view each image separately with a white background. It may be just me, but I find that when I use a dark background, the images seem to be joined together and it's more difficult to view them as separate pieces. I also turn on the proof margin, as that adds a little more white space around the images, which also helps. I really like the panorama version of this shot and love the texture in the snow on the right side of the hill, but I think I'm going to keep the top image, as we can still see a good chunk of the right slope, but it leaves a little more to the imagination with the crop of the top image. The top image also accentuates the fence leading down the hill, which I feel is an important and pleasing aspect, so the top image it is. Another important indicator of whether the image should stay or go is literally how I feel as the image comes onto the screen. I just flicked through 3 of the crane shots on the river and felt my mood rise as the first image appeared, and then it dipped as the second and third images appeared. Without overthinking the decision too much, I removed the second and third images. I still have 9 Stellar's Sea Eagle shots in my selection, so here's another screenshot to show you what I have, and we can work through my thought process together. I really like the panning shot in the top left. Of the top, center and right images, I prefer the angle of the bird in the right image, and the reflection is better, so I removed the top center image. In Capture One Pro, you have to deselect all images to delete one, and when I put the images back, I found a 10th image of the Stellar's Sea Eagles, but I removed it from my selection, so now I'm down to 8. But now comparing the top right image with the center left image, I prefer the left center, so the top right image is gone now. The image in the bottom, the center at the bottom, was the result of a collision between 2 birds that doesn't feel great, so I removed that too. And the butt shot in the bottom left can go, as I still like the others more. Now, faced with a smaller selection of 5 images, I see that if I'm to leave one image in, it's the center image of the above screenshot. I love the tension of that eagle almost leaving the frame on the right side and the wake its tail caused in the water as it used it to gauge its height. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the rest. As I compared the 2 similar shots of the lines of swans flying at the Cushero Lake, I realized that I liked the bottom image with 2 lines of swans better, but I needed to crop the image to a 16:9 ratio to increase the impact. There was too much sky and foreground snow in the original edit. I also removed the landscape aspect Ezordeer shot in favor of the portrait aspect, as I still love the proud look on the face of the deer that is looking straight at me for his portrait. I removed both of the Hooper Swan panning shots, as neither kept my attention as I passed over them. I'm now starting the second pass of my Namibia images, and immediately removed the flamingo flyover shot, as my mood dipped when I looked at it. I've still got a lot of elephant shots. I removed the 2 images of the large herd coming towards the camera in favor of the more distant herd, but again I cropped the shot vertically, this time to a 1:2 aspect ratio. This image feels more cinematic to me now. I also removed some of the foreground rocks and piles of dung to clean it up a little. I'm leaving in the biblical panorama for now, as I love the feeling of that image, but I removed the black and white elephant procession image. I removed the 3 blue water flamingo shots too, as they don't feel that artistic, and I kind of knew they wouldn't make the grade when I added them, but I wanted to leave them in for a second look. I'm leaving the second of the 2 flamingo sunset images in the selection for now, but I don't know if it will stay. Now I'm at the end of my second pass. I'm down to 30 images, as you can see from this screenshot. By the way, if you're wondering where the images are, if you're using the Apple Podcasts app, you can see them embedded in the chapters, or an app like Overcast as well will show you the images. If you can't see them on your device or computer, then go to the blog post for this episode, which is at mbp.ac/833. The selection process is now starting to get difficult, but that means I have to start and get brutal. From the thumbnail view, I can see that the lilac-breasted roller can go, as it lacks impact. The Coleman Scott slat room shot can go too, as I've included that in a previous top 10, I'm sure. The laughing impala is cute but has to go, and that goes for the baby snow monkey running away as well. I'm also going to remove the two cranes with their breath showing. I was really happy to get that shot, but there is a better shot to be made, so I'll remove it in anticipation of improvement. The Ural owl shot and Sirot images can go as well, and the two dancing crane shot is out of here too. This really is getting difficult now. I'm down to 22, so I still have to remove 12 images. As cool as it would be to have a snow leopard shot in my top 10, I think I'm going to get rid of it. The fighting zebra can go too. 20 left. Let's say goodbye to the short-eared owl because its expression is not great. The white-tailed eagle kicking up the snow can go as well. And I just removed the 3 rhinos shot. I prefer the cool grey palette of the other rhino image. With 17 images left, I can see that as much as I love the Steller sea eagle shot, it has to go. And the Ezo deer is starting to feel out of place as well. The biblical elephant shot is perhaps not as impactful as the other images, so that's gone too. With 14 left, it's a painful decision, but the cranes on the river and the lines of swans shots probably have to go too. It's slideshow time. I have to try and feel my way to the final 2 removal candidates. And I now feel that I have to remove the dune shot because, as much as I love it, I can't think of any other reasons to keep it. And now, at 11 images, I think my only option is to remove the orangutan shot because it's a captive animal, which makes it low-hanging fruit. I hate that expression because I love the shot and shooting at zoos is a great way to spend a day, but I cannot think of a reason to remove any other images. So there we have it. It's been a more difficult process than many of my previous years. I hope that that is an indication that I've improved some as a photographer, because it was harder than usual to cut the cord on many of my selected images. I'm somewhat saddened to have removed all of my Hokkaido winter wildlife images, as I still love that work, but I think my other work trumped my results from 2023, although to be honest, on a different day, I may have made different decisions. I'm not going to talk about each of the images, as I've already done that in previous podcasts and blog posts, but I have included an album of the top 10. This really isn't about the individual images though, it's all about the process and learning to create a strong set of images for whatever reason. This is what I feel to be my best work for 2023, but this could be about a selection process for any reason. Employ the things you learn from this process when selecting images, and the viewers of your selection will enjoy your presentation much more than if you were to show more images. If you do this yourself, please do leave a link in the comments at the blog post, which you can find, as I said earlier, at mbp.ac/833. I enjoy seeing what you've been up to over the year as well. All the best for 2024. Thanks very much for listening today. If you enjoy this podcast, please consider supporting us on Patreon, which comes with various benefits depending on your contribution, from basic support and access to the MBP Community Forum to full-blown photography mentorships. For further details, check out our Patreon page at mbp.ac/Patreon. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, X, LinkedIn and Threads, and links to everything that I'm up to are at martinbaileyphotography.com, so do drop by and take a look. I'll be back in a couple of weeks with an update on my Hokkaido landscape tour. In the meantime, you take care and have a great couple of weeks, whatever you're doing. Bye bye.